Do you pee in soda bottles?
No.
Do boys have uvulas?
Yes.
Does the old man have a lot of balls?
Yeah. Footballs, baseballs, basketballs.
All this and more on Gory Storytime.
Warning. Gory Storytime is a horror movie review show by a son and his dad who thought that letting his 5-year-old watch scary movies was acceptable. If you are offended by horror or talk about blood and gore by a child, or if you don't want horror movies from the 60s through today spoiled, then there is a remote stuck in your couch cushion next to potato chip crumbs. Use it. And of course, parental discretion is advised.
Why? You didn't use any.
Shut up and start the show.
Welcome to Gory Storytime. I'm your host, Jason.
I'm his co-host and father, Craig, and this week on Gory Storytime, if you don't know how to read the title on YouTube or the poster behind me,
Or the lower thing below us, above
or
us.
during the intro when it says the name of the movie,
Yeah.
if you've missed all that, we're going to review Monster House. This is our fourth of 4 family-friendly Halloween movies.
Indeed, indeed.
So far, without giving away our feelings about this one, the first 3, we liked all 3 of them, which isn't always the case when we pick 4
It's actually usually not the case.
Right. As much as we hate coming in here and complaining about bad movies,
Sometimes it's
we
fun.
have to do it sometimes.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. I try to go over the top fun with it, but basic premise, there's a house. It's a monster.
Monster House.
Oh, is there more that we should probably say?
Steve Buscemi,
Plays an elderly man.
who doesn't like kids on his lawn.
Yeah, he's definitely the get off my lawn guy because he says it like over and over and over and over again. And then when it appears that he has been killed, the house starts
very hungry
calling
house.
the neighbor kid.
Yeah, the house just starts calling the neighbor kid. Actually, you're right.
It sounds dumb the way I'm saying it, but it basically starts scaring and attacking local neighborhood children. And that's the basic premise. They
Specifically,
have
the
to
3
stop
we
the house.
follow.
They have to stop the house from killing and eating children.
On Halloween.
Yeah. Well, Halloween's coming up for.
Because this is a Halloween movie.
It is, which is a good way to end it, considering it's family movies for Halloween.
Would you
This
look
one
at that?
actually takes place.
Would you look at that?
That's basically the premise. For those who haven't seen it, why don't we roll the trailer and show you exactly what we're talking about?
We'll be back tomorrow night. Or if anything happens, call the police and hide in your closet.
He knows that.
Have fun with the sinner!
Okay. Now listen up. I control the TV, the stereo, and the phone. I'm not your mother. I'm not your friend. Fine!
Every town has a legend.
There's something going on at that house.
Every street has a story.
I'll go ding-dong ditch the house, and you'll see.
No ghost!
Chatter, stop, please! Chatter, I'm serious.
Every house
Chatter, come back.
has a secret.
The house is alive!
From executive producers Robert Zemeckis and Steven Spielberg.
We have to fight back.
Good luck, DJ. We'll be here if you need anything.
This summer, get ready to cross over to the other side of the street. Monster House.
Officer, we have reason to believe that there's a dangerous creature inside that house.
And it grabs things and pulls them in and eats them.
We'll see you later.
Well, in case that didn't tell you what this movie was about.
I mean, in case we didn't.
In case we didn't, in case the title didn't.
All right. Now, before we get into the behind-the-scenes stuff and, give you some of that cool information, what are we here for, Jay?
We're basically prostitutes.
We are. We sell ourselves, not physically, but we do it for cash. We do advertise products that may even suck. We don't care.
We
not
don't know.
These this week that are paying us. I'm saying in the past we may have. No, what we do is we put it out there that we're willing to pimp ourselves out. It's handy when we're our own pimps, because I won't beat me. At least
I won't beat me.
Actually, that's not. Never mind.
This is a family-friendly movie we're talking about, folks.
But the show isn't.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway.
Well, I try to say that, and you say, no, it's not good.
Well, it's not dirty, but
that was
suggestive anyway.
Speaking of which, we're prostitutes.
Back to that. This week, what we did was we put it out there that we were doing this movie, and these two companies said that they would sign us one of those giant checks each. Those big ones that they always give to, winners of prizes?
Yeah, well, we've got swimming pools full of them. We swim around in those checks.
I mean, they're foam, so they help him float because he doesn't know how to swim. Anyway, this week they backed up the Brinks trucks to have us advertise these wonderful products. Gory Storytime is brought to you by Elizabeth's Babysitting Service. Elizabeth is a nice teenage girl who will take care of your pride and joy for a reasonable rate. Elizabeth will bring games and activities to do with your son and daughter, or a daughter, based on their likes. As a rule follower, you never need to worry about boys coming over, food being devoured, or mean treatment of your child, like that Sarah bitch who lives locally and also babysits. We're pretty sure she's a marijuana addict and a bad person. So choose Elizabeth's Babysitting Service today.
What the hell? All right. All right. I guess I have to hire her. And by Grumper, the dating app for grumpy old men and women. We here at Grumper believe that these elderly folks would be less ornery if they were also less horny. They don't really want to be miserable. They're just lonely. So keep the local grumpy grandpa and crotchety grandma from bothering your kids with Grumper, where Get Off My Lawn ends with Get On Me. What?
All right. Now, is there anything else you want to discuss before we get into the meat and beef, as you like to say? Is there anything else you want to say about this movie?
Watch it.
Yes, if you haven't seen it, before we give you, because there's not a lot of spoilers, but
I mean, the biggest spoiler was in the trailer, so.
Yeah, okay, good point. I'll go first this time?
Sure.
All right. As of 2018, this is the only motion picture capture film to feature an entirely original story and not based on existing source material.
Monster House takes place in 1983, not 84.
Okay. Chowder's line of, DJ, you pissin' bottles, had to be redubbed to you peein' bottles to help maintain the PG rating. You could still see Chowder's lips speak the original line.
The first animated film to be made using Sony's animation rendering software.
John Hader, who plays Skull, tripped over some wiring and broke his ankle on the first day on set. Because they did the motion capture, so there was a set.
For the German version of the film, Bones, Skull, and Chowder have been renamed Punk, Freak, and Ketchup.
Why?
Don't ask me.
The tricycle scene at the beginning of the movie is an homage to Stanley Kubrick's film rendition of Stephen King's The Shining.
Okay. The film used 3D motion capture techniques to digitally record the physical performances of the actors before skinning them with their animated forms. That sounds much more horrifying than it is, I guarantee it.
Mitchell Musso and Sam Lerner went to see Napoleon Dynamite before shooting. When they arrived on set, they screamed and jumped on John Hader, who played Napoleon.
In the original screenplay, DJ and Chowder are harassed by two bullies named Ryan and Cameron, who get eaten after DJ purposely lures them to the house as bait. The two characters are removed from the screenplay because the studio thought their death was far too dark, and that the bullies, combined with DJ's cruel babysitter's boyfriend, and Nebercracker, all made the film seem much more cruel.
I mean, those characters were already pretty cruel. There is a backstory involving Skull, played by John Heder. Why do they kiss it? Anyway. And Bones, played by Jason Lee, being an amateur heavy metal band. When we first meet Z, played by Maggie Gyllenhaal, she's wearing a top with Skull and Bones written on it, and later puts on one of their cassette tapes called Live at the Smell. She's also dating Bones in the movie.
The motto on the police car reads, "We want to help."
Although only mentioned in dialogue once, license plates and screenplay say the film takes place in the suburbs of Mayville, Wisconsin.
During the vacuum cleaner scene where the boys dress it up to look like a monster, it is dressed just like a kid who walks into the Halloween party in Donnie Darko with the same mask and Letterman's jacket.
The actors had to go through motion capture acting in order to animate the characters. The actor had to wear motion capture suits with little dots glued to their faces and a headpiece glued to their head with motion capture dots. After they took off their suits, the glue would cause irritation to their hair and scalp, but luckily they would get a head massage with shampoo.
Okay.
That's a weird...
Robert Zemeckis and Steven Spielberg's first production together in 16 years since Back to the Future 3.
Which is the worst of the trilogy.
Yeah.
Based upon the fact that we do not see any of the children attending school, along with the music, fashion, and arcade games shown, it can be assumed that the movie's events take place Friday, October 30th and Saturday, October 31st, 1987.
Except, at the very beginning of what we started with, it says that this takes place in 83, so it can't be 87.
Well, that's... I don't know what to tell you.
It's either one or the other.
Well,
if it's 83, it's definitely not 87.
Well, then none of the kids went to school.
I mean, she was even doing something for school at the beginning of it. The markers DJ used to draw the plan to taking out the house was from a store called Sir Sniff-A-Lot.
During the opening leaf sequence, in the background can be seen the crane, which is featured later in the film.
And this, the first theatrically released animated film for Kevin James. Later he'd go on to voice Otis the cow in Barnyard and Frankenstein in the first 3 Hotel Transylvania films.
Well, of course, he works with Sandler. He works with Sandler every time Sandler thinks of a part for him. He does that with all his friends.
Which is reasonable.
Yeah, like it's
like, I like you. I'm gonna make sure you keep getting money.
And Farley's not around, so I need a fat, funny guy. You're him now.
James.
I mean, basically,
he's fat. He's funny.
I mean, that's literally what I said.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot. And we like to give the Rotten Tomatoes score, and quickly, for those who have heard it a million times, you'll hear it again, and for those who never heard it, well, you'll hear it for the first time. I'm saying that as if people are watching. Anyway, Rotten Tomatoes doesn't actually rate movies. People get mad at Rotten Tomatoes, and it's the dumbest thing, because all they do is take other critics' reviews, figure out which ones are positive, which ones are negative, and they tell you the percentage of critics who gave it a positive review. It has nothing to do with the quality of the movie in a lot of cases, because sometimes it's politically bent, sometimes the genre gets it a lower score, but basically it's just a conglomerate. We, as reviewers, are not on the critics' side most of the time, because we actually enjoy movies.
Yes.
And a lot of them don't.
The movies they give,
a lot of movies that get higher ratings, it's like, but this is a slog.
Right.
Anyway, but the critics rated, averaged it at
a 75%,
which is a good score. The people, for some reason, have it lower, which is weird, at 63.
Yeah.
Yeah, or 64, sorry.
64.
64. I remembered that wrong. But still, usually for something like this, it would be more the fans that enjoyed it. But
it happens.
I guess the only people that felt they needed to express their opinion, more of them didn't like it.
I guess so.
What was your least favorite thing in this film?
Least favorite thing in this film?
That's what I said. Least favorite thing.
Oh, yeah, I remember now. So, towards the end, when the house uproots itself and uses trees as arms and starts rampaging through the town, trying to murder violently these 3 children.
As opposed to gently murdering them.
I mean, as a house, there's nothing gentle when it's, rampaging through the town. The problem
It was weird when the kid was like, please be gentle. I'm like, whoa, this movie just changed.
Well, okay. The problem I most have with this is that nobody other than Nebercracker, who's not dead,
spoiler alert,
Chowder, who's the fat kid, DJ,
who's the other kid,
and the girl, Jen? I don't know. The girl are the only 4 characters that acknowledge that a house
is
uprooted itself from the earth and is chasing them through town.
It would be weird if they
noticing.
didn't acknowledge that, seeing as they were the ones being
But
chased.
nobody's outside. There should be more cops.
Back in the 80s, people paid more attention like that, too. Nowadays, people are like, oh, I'll just mind my own business. I hear the children screaming next door, but God forbid I get involved.
Oh, my goodness. It's like, I don't know, when the house steps on your car, you'll notice tomorrow morning when you try to get to work.
And why was the alarm not going off? Aha.
It was just full of inconsistencies, and it was unrealistic. So
he's in for the house chasing him down the street. The problem is more people should have been gawking.
Yes.
Okay. My least favorite part was probably when the babysitter's boyfriend was just being a jerk for no reason, and he ripped up the kid's stuffed bunny. He's just like, haha, kid. I'm like, nice.
Why? Oh, you're dead? Good.
Nope.
Well.
Spoiler alert, nope.
Wouldn't that have been nice?
Yep. What was your favorite scene?
Probably the scene where the cops get eaten by the house. Because they are being those very over-the-top, we don't believe the situation cops. And then they go and they investigate, and the house attacks them. And it's just great.
Yes, because as an adult, if a little kid comes up and says, that house is trying to eat people, you're going to believe them, right?
I mean, no, but
okay,
I'm not going to let them go back near the house. I'm going to be like, yeah, all right, maybe that's dangerous then, huh?
Well, what they said is stay away from the house, get away from it. The man who owns that probably doesn't want you there. So, I mean, so what you're saying is they did what you would do and they were jerks for it.
Yes. Because they're supposed to be jerks for it. They're the cops in this. And cops in movies are bad.
But at least that's your favorite, not your least favorite.
Oh, yeah.
If that was I mean, they just did an over-the-top version of what they do in a lot of horror movies, where it's like, the guy that comes back to life every year and starts murdering people is at it again. Oh, silly you.
What are you talking about?
Didn't you say that to the guys last year?
who got killed by that person,
right.
by the way?
My favorite. I'm trying to think. Honestly, it's probably when you find out what a nice guy the old man really was, and he's handing everyone back their stuff from over the years.
And that it was all because of his dumb wife that he was mean.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
At one point, I thought his wife was going to be your least favorite part because she's not nice.
Yeah, but if she was nice,
But at least
then
she's
the
not
house would be.
attractive.
Okay.
Anyway.
I mean, it would take about 12 of him to equal her.
She wasn't that big, but okay.
He was that small.
Well, anywho, I mean, Steve Buscemi is a small guy, I guess.
And they animated him even smaller.
Yeah.
Creepy.
On a scale of 1 to 10, what would you rate this movie? Again, and the way we do it, we always try to base it on the type of movie it is. So the scale is set for family kids movie. Like family movie.
It's
not
tagged as a comedy family animated film. It doesn't even say horror in the tags, which is
weird because out of all of them, Coraline and this are probably the most horror based out of the 4 we did.
Yeah. I don't remember the second one we did.
Because if they wanted to, they could have made this a straight up horror film. Which, by the way, an idea that I had come up with while we were doing this, watching this, I said, when are they going to do, they've done like Sausage Party as an adult comedy CG movie. When are they going to do the first completely CG animated horror movie? Like straight up horror. Not some nonsense manga stuff for virgins who live in their parents' basement. I'm talking about like,
you know, real
horror. Like good stuff.
Real good film.
Yeah, that.
And not that, as you said, virgin shit.
Nice.
You yelled bitch earlier.
Which is a different level of cussing. You went too far. Anyway, scale of 1 to 10.
This is not for kids. I'm going to go just higher than the critics and say an 8.
So like, okay. Yeah, you know what? I'll give it an 8. That seems about right.
This movie is a lot of fun.
It is.
I would have no problem watching this movie every year for Halloween.
I think if you have little kids and they, like, when you have kids eventually, hopefully someday, you know, I liked, you know, when my kids got into, I want to be scared. And this seems like a good entry level type thing where it's not going to give them, it shouldn't give them nightmares, but it's going to like freak them out a little bit.
And, you know, at least give them
this and Coraline
a
both.
warning for stranger danger.
I mean, all 4 of the movies we could have them watch. The Munsters didn't really have any scares.
And I don't remember the second one. What did we do?
We did this, Coraline, the Munsters, and I don't remember. Wow. That's what I like to call a pothole. When you hit a pothole.
Yep, that's the one.
Anyway, but yeah, so 8 and 8.
8 and 8. Good movie. I'd go watch it. It is streaming.
I'm annoyed that I can't think of it, though. But let's read the stuff on the side.
So, on the side of the screen, there's all that words. Fact TV, channel 1076, Thursdays at 8:30 p.m. and Fridays at 7 p.m. is where you could watch this show.
You can also like us on Facebook. And when I say us, I mean Gory Storytime has a Facebook page. But also, go ahead and like Fact TV, you know. They live stream stuff, and there's, you know, constantly people trying to come in here and do their own stuff. Even some filmmakers happening nowadays, you know.
Definitely. You can go to fact8.com and watch a bunch of the back episodes of this and many other pieces of entertainment that they have.
And then, of course, on the Twitter, I am at Craig Jakes, all one word, all lowercase, and you?
I am at Jiggly Firm Brain. I only tweet things that I find funny that he says, either in or out of context, whatever is funnier. I tweeted as recent as today.
And it was completely out of context, and he purposely did it to make it less funny because he didn't want to have to admit to the part that I was responding to, because he didn't want to drag himself into the funny. But if anyone hits me up on mine, I'll tell you what he said to set up that one. Anyway.
Get more traffic, you know?
Yeah, because people are going to do this. Anyway, also check out my YouTube channel. It's Juggalo Jakes. Just look for Gory Storytime. It'll come up with my page. It'll also come up with some selections from Fact TV, and you should like and subscribe to both.
Indeed, you should.
Hit that subscribe button and pound on that notification bell for both.
Yes. And
you don't want to miss any of the heart-pumping, gory story time action.
Rawr.
Anyway, but that's the show for this week.
It is. I've been your host, Jason.
I'm his co-host and his father, Craig, and
sweet dreams.